Right. Okay, so welcome to the Miracle Work 1 class. And today is the start of it. And so I sent you some material to start with, a little reader, Healing as Release from Fear. And so today is Miracle Work 1. And on Sunday is Miracle Work 2, which is more practical in the sense of, you're going to stand in the spotlight, to receive healing, to release fear, to share with your brother what is given you to share. And so here in this class, what we do is basically coming together with the purpose of healing and with the purpose of becoming still and making it really an experience for ourselves, basically, because otherwise what are we doing? So that was the first thing I thought about the class, is like, let's not forget where we find ourselves and what we think that we are doing and how this all fits into say our true purpose, because we should not leave that out of sight, of course not. So, and then it is like I can only share from my own experience in this, and that is that I feel so much excitement in that sense and so much joy coming into this matter again anew, like making a real new dive into what is given us for healing, and seeing that opens up in yourself so much, like so much possibilities and so much energy and inspiration, that it's like I'm not able to contain myself. That's why I'm here expressing myself. I just can't stop myself being so incredibly touched by my refound connection, by my awakening, by my healing, that I want to share it with you. If you're able to receive this and join me in this, then you recognize, oh my God, I cannot believe what is given. It's like that will be the proper response to it, in the sense of, open yourself up to receive it completely, because this is an opportunity to come to the core of, say, the place where you actually see there's no longer a use for me to hold on to the ideas that I held about everything, because it is going to be corrected. It is literally, it is being undone more and more and more. And I see that all the limitations I put on myself it was literally self-imposed. Nobody asked it of me. So sharing the joy of feeling the freedom of that, feeling the release of the fear, and coming into an experience of wholeness, of connectedness with my brother, with you, is to me like totally say touching my heart in an enormous sense. Like it really melts me. And this is what I love to share with you. Like, okay, let this affect you, but also give yourself a chance to melt. Because what else is going on than you, say, dropping your defenses and actually coming into an acceptance of what already is. How good that feels to come home inside yourself. How good that feels to see that you're completely connected, that you're holding hands with everyone, that you're literally seeing your brother for who he is, instead of your pitiful little judgment about him, that would literally block your eye to really see him. So let's not forget this. This is the basic thing why we are actually coming together, realizing this in ourselves, that what is given is already there. You don't have to create it. No, it is already there. But for you to come into the full recognition of that, it is to realize a couple of things and allowing a new vision to come to you, and also seeing that you get all the help with that for yourself. Like, no wonder that you felt uncertain when you trusted your own ideas. No wonder that you were in agony, or that you woke up at night in bathing in sweat, like, oh my God, how am I supposed to do this? You know, it's like, sure, absolutely, that there was no reason for you to trust your own ideas, because they were based on a limited perspective of yourself. So, and that is, yeah, you can all hold on to that. I don't want to take that away from you, but there's a different way of looking at all of this, and a totally different experience that is available to you in all the affairs, in all your affairs. You know, and that is amazing that that's a possibility that we realize in this time that we spend, seeing that it's literally unlimited, that there's no limitation of any kind, except the self-imposed ones. So it's good to point out the source of limitation, which is always like right here, not anywhere else. And that's such a blessing to realize that. So now it can change. I take responsibility for it, and it can be changed, because I'm willing to accept myself as the source of my own limitation. I don't have to project it on my brother anymore. I don't have to say like, yeah, it's because of this and that this occurs. It is because of something outside myself that is limiting me. And no, that is not the case. That will never be the case. So then to enter into a total perspective, like a total teaching, so to speak, that brings you the ideas that you can actually guide you through this narrow path that we're on. Narrow in the sense of, yeah, you can just follow the steps that are already there. You don't have to find your own way through this. It is a narrow path. You just have to follow the steps of the one who knows. And that is so great, and that's so helpful and so efficient, so to speak. It saves you so much time, and it saves you so much pain. So that is the offering. You know, that's amazing. That's the offering. So I'm really happy that you decided to be in this class, to follow this, to be part of it, to let yourself be exposed to this, because it saves you time of suffering, and your brother at the same time. It saves you and your brother time of suffering that otherwise you would have lost in suffering. So and yeah, you did that enough. We did that for so many lifetimes. We had our deal with suffering. You don't have to do that anymore. So now, using this urtext of A Course in Miracles, using the specific chapter 2, like healing as release from fear, that section, we use parts of that. Like some themes you will see coming through in this time that we come together. And it is not that I'm literally going to dissect it from the text, but I love to bring you into, say, the sphere of this, of the, say, in the miracle-mindedness, in the sphere of miracle-mindedness, where you can actually see that once you are in that level of recognition and communication, miracles happen naturally. And that will give you opportunities that weren't there otherwise. So that is really beautiful about this, and it really works. That's why I continue doing this. It's incredible. So I have some fresh experiences and seeing how that works, how simple that is, and how close to you, literally to you in your daily affairs. It is literally demonstrating to you that it's an availability that just needs you and your openness to get over yourself in the roles that you know yourself. It might just change a little bit, but that makes it exciting too. And so if you wouldn't have an adventurous mind, you wouldn't probably be listening to this. No, you love adventure. You love to walk up to the edge and see over the edge to see what is there. Otherwise, you wouldn't be doing this. So that is exactly the spirit that we're looking for in that sense. That is what makes this so incredible for yourself, because you know your human existence, you know the limited perspective of your human existence. You got lost in it. You got lost in it, and you don't know how to get out of it yourself. So that's why some guidance is really great, and which is available. That is even more amazing. So this is on a day by day basis, basically, that we're doing this, that we're offering this, that you can listen to audios and videos, and that you can read in the book, and that you can actually have spent time with yourself to let this all come into place, fall into place for you. And it's the frequency is increasing. That is so great. You can feel that it changes and that it shifts, and you are totally part of it. It changes because of you, because you allow a new vision to come to you. You are allowing yourself to let go of old ideas that were limiting you and that you got stuck in, but now you're willing to let them go and let them be replaced with something that is useful to you instead of, limiting. So all of this is given, and we will repeat we will bring in some ideas. So for starters, we know that we have to deal with the mind in this. So maybe I should make that a little bit of a point here. It's like we see healing always related to body, and that can change. You can have different ideas about that, because the origin of the way that the body presents itself is coming from its source, which is the mind. Mind over matter, so to speak. So what you think about who you are, thinking that you're a body, or thinking that this body can be sick, is giving the possibility of an say, manifestation of that. And so it's good to realize that the source of this is in the mind, the way that you think about yourself. Like if you think you can become sick, you might as well go to a doctor. But these are related to one another. So the remedy and the sickness are related to one another. This is the same idea. But if you recognize yourself as the totality of what you are, then the body is just dissolving. So the miracle that we're teaching here, the miracle that we bring in here, is always offering you the opportunity to go beyond the body, to have to literally hand over what your ideas are and let them be used in a way so they become helpful to you. It doesn't take the body away. It doesn't take anything away except your limited ideas about it. So in recognizing with your brother together your true source and connectedness, that is going to give you the healing that you need, whether that is visible, manifested in your physicality, or whether that's in your relationship or in your financial situation or anything. Like in whatever way you can receive it, in whatever way it is related to how you think about yourself, that is exactly where the healing will take place. So, and that is pretty amazing. So, and see, we tend to go. See, the release of fear has also to do with the idea of you will come into the practice of taking some time for it, letting it change, being patient with yourself and with the things that you're experiencing. And when I say patience, it is more like if you see that there's a physical symptom, say, manifesting itself for you, to be patient with that and letting it just be for a moment. It's like whatever comes will go too. Whatever has a beginning has an end. So that means sometimes that you just have to be patient. Just give it some time, let it change, allow it to change. Because it is all temporal. It is always temporal. It can change. And so we'll come back to that theme too. I'm not saying that you shouldn't go to a doctor when you feel ill or when you think you're sick, because when you feel that you're sick, you have to go to the doctor because you need a remedy. That those two are related. So I'm not doing that with you. But I'm just offering you a new way to be patient with this, literally, to take time. It is not what you think it is. It is what you, yeah, it's going to be a new experience for you. Like if you would believe what the doctor tells you directly, then that is very fearful, because it tells you something about yourself that you are not. It is not you having that. No, it is a whole different story. But so there's a lot of say work to do, so to speak, or awareness to gain in this matter. And that's an essential part of this miracle work class too, to have no confusion about how this works, or to dissolve, let the confusion about it be dissolved for you. And so that is what we're going to look at step for step. We're going through certain parts of it, certain aspects, and we'll take a look at that. So to start with the mind, we're going to use the first 5 lessons of A Course in Miracles, the review of the first 5 lessons, and I will read them to you, just as an introduction into miracles. Also in changing your mind, retraining your mind in a different way. So see this as a start. So it will invite you to let go of a lot of things. So nothing I see means anything. The reason this is so is that I see nothing, and nothing has no meaning. It is necessary that I recognize this, that I may learn to see. What I think I see now is taking the place of vision. I must let it go by realizing it has no meaning, so that vision may take its place. I've given what I see all the meaning it has for me. I've judged everything I look upon, and it is this and only this I see. This is not vision. It is merely an illusion of reality, because my judgments have been made quite apart from reality. I'm willing to recognize the lack of validity in my judgments because I want to see. My judgments have hurt me, and I do not want to see according to them. I do not understand anything I see. How could I understand what I see when I've judged it amiss? What I see is a projection of my own mind. What I see is the projection of my own errors of thought. I do not understand what I see because it is not understandable. There's no sense in trying to understand it, but there's every reason to let it go and make room for what can be seen, understood, and loved. I can exchange what I see now for this merely by being willing to do so. Is not this a better choice than the one I made before? These thoughts do not mean anything. The thoughts of which I am aware do not mean anything because I'm trying to think without God. What I call my thoughts are not my real thoughts. My real thoughts are the thoughts I think with God. And I'm not aware of them because I've made my thoughts to take their place. I'm willing to recognize that my thoughts do not mean anything and to let them go. I choose to have them be replaced by what they were intended to replace. My thoughts are meaningless, but all creation lies in the thoughts I think with God. I'm never upset for the reason I think. I'm never upset for the reason I think because I'm constantly trying to justify my thoughts. I'm constantly trying to make them true. I make all things my enemies so that my anger is justified and my attacks are warranted. I've not realized how much I've misused everything by assigning this role to it. I've done this to defend a thought system that has hurt me and that I no longer want. I'm willing to let it go. Okay, so these are already the first 5 lessons, and I read those because they're so very helpful. It's like, oh yes, I forget to think with God. I already trust my own thoughts. Oh my God, I'm doing this all the time, and now it has to stop. So I'll keep reading this until I see that dissipates, that disappears, and the fact that there's a way out of it is such a good feeling for you to like, oh, there's a way out of my limited ideas about myself. I can't believe it. There's actually an alternative. Oh my God, now I can do something. It's not really a method, but it's a realization. It's coming to know your true nature that is already there, only it was covered up by your ideas about yourself, by your, say, false ideas about yourself, by your misperception, by the errors that you made in judging what is actually not, judging with a mind that cannot judge. Because it believes in what it sees, and what it sees is already over. So it is based on nothing, really. And so that's helpful to take a look at that, isn't it? And it's really great to read this. So I see it is not that I'm telling you something that you don't know. So that's also good to know. And don't forget to relax into this. It is not that now you have to hunt every thought in your mind. No. So it's like, okay, I can let this come to me. Like, yeah, the things that I'm thinking don't really make a lot of sense. Like sometimes I think it makes some sense, but then I see like, no, it's not really working that way. So it's taking time to sit with yourself, to let the truth literally be revealed to you, because that is already bubbling up in you. It is in you. There's no separation from you from that, so that is really great. That's lovely. So I got my little list. I'll see what I got on it. Oh, that's beautiful. So this chapter 2, urtext, healing as release of fear, the section is it is quite a book. It's like that's a book in itself. It gives you so much information about specifics of how to look at healing, why you have to be watchful of, how this misperception is coming about, and how you can release that, how that can be undone for you. So in that sense, we're going to use this a couple of lessons, I think, and I will use different materials too to see it. Just as I just used the first 5 lessons, you see that, oh yes, this is coming from the same thought system. Basically, this is coming from the same vision, and I love to indulge myself with that. It's like, yeah, I want to be taught by Christ mind himself, by the might of Christ, because that is the only way that I can walk this narrow path, by following that guidance. So not relying on myself, but seeing that, yes, the way is already there. I just have to follow the path and step into the footsteps, that I don't miss anything and slide off into a detour, into fear again. So there are lots of opportunities here, and there's so much, say, given to you in this, that it's really good also. Just like I said before, it's like to sit still with it and experience it, and actually realize what it is that you're going through. So I mean, also, like, you don't even have to listen to something for a moment, or to read something, but to just become still with yourself, to sit in that silence and feel where you find yourself, and see that shifts naturally occur for you to come into a deeper experience of connectedness and of communication. That as soon as you relax your defenses and relax your mind, there's suddenly space to allow this to occur to you and to come into a deeper experience of yourself and to see like, oh, if I could just accept this moment in its completion, how would that be? So these are important moments with yourself. Like, yeah, you can do that right now. Why not? Just relax and see, oh, what is actually occurring here? I feel that my mind start to relax and that yeah, something is changing in me in the sense of, I really feel that something is opening up and that I feel more spacious. How good that feels. Like I'm not limited by the idea of that I'm a body. Like I'm not that body that I think I am. Well, that's a very spacious idea. Suddenly there's more space for you to be yourself and see that you're not limited by space at all. You see, and you might feel some fear coming up, like, I don't really know what it means by that, or I don't really know how that would be. And I think I'm a bit scared to do so. It's like, am I losing myself in this, or is there no limitation at all? Can I disappear into that? And questions like that. Well, here it is like, no, whatever is going to be given to you, you're able to accept. Like you are under such good guidance and such good care in that sense, in care of your awakening, that is all taken care of. So you never have to, you're never going to be pushed into a fear episode in this, but there will be a release of fear. See, there can be some pressure. You read that in this chapter too. There can be some real pressure where you feel very uncomfortable. And this uncomfortableness is really like, yeah, you suddenly nothing is working and you don't know how to get out of it. And you see like, oh my God, this is really right in my face. How do I get rid of this? It's like so intense. What is happening? I don't know what's going on. See, if that is happening, this is a great moment for you, actually, even though it doesn't feel nice or anything like that. But what is happening is that you come to the point where you actually can't deny your own reality. You can't deny this little aspect of reality that you're facing. And you cannot fool yourself any longer, but it feels at the same time a bit uncomfortable because it will shift and change. And you can feel that coming up. So there's really like a pivot point where you enter into and see that it will change. And so that's interesting to read that also in this reader, in this part of the urtext that we're using. I can give it a shot to find it, to read that to you. And this time I really had it on in a different color, but printed in my text, only I printed it black and white. So I didn't. So it's always trusting the total perfection of this all. So we can't go wrong. So I'm not getting nervous about this. I can't go wrong with it. You know, that is so great. But it will come, for sure. So I'm just taking time to get to it. In the meantime, you can deeply relax into what is given to you. Yeah, I see I got it here. This is in on page 6 of the little booklet. This is an interesting part because we're in the middle of it. So corrective learning, C19. Corrective learning always begins with awakening the spiritual eye and turning away from the belief in physical sight. The reason this entails fear is because man is afraid of what his spiritual eye will see, which was why he closed it in the first place. It's like, okay, so you close your spiritual eye, like your third eye, or however you want to call it. You close your spiritual eye at the moment of the schism, of the moment of separation. You had like, well, I don't want to see that anymore. I'm going to give that a break because I have my own ideas now. I'm good. You know, I don't need all that. So now, say after where you've been through, after your whole sojourn into time and space, into fear, into limitation, into scarcity, into sickness, pain, and death, you know, you come to the point where you are stuck in it and you don't know how to move on. And here is a new presentation to you. There's a new possibility popping up in your mind, telling you that you can actually trust what is going on and that there's a spiritual vision, just like we read in the first 5 lessons. Like there's a vision, a Christ vision available. But here now you come to the place where you actually feel fear because you're not sure what you're going to see with your spiritual eye. You know, you're actually afraid of letting that happen, not trusting that completely, that that will be a better thing that you see with your eyes now. Like if it's that certain as the certainty, the certain, say, disaster that you see with your physical eyes. You know, so this is interesting. So this vision, this spiritual eye where we're talking about is then something that you will grow to by letting go of your ideas, by stepping into this, say, on a day-by-day basis, undoing of your ideas about yourself. So that's what we call the atonement, coming into the atonement, the undoing of what you think you are, and seeing that that is a limited perspective, but entering into the atonement, seeing that by dissolving the resistance to watch that, to watch your limitations and seeing that as your own reality, to see that fall apart and see that reality arises just as natural, you release fear of seeing that. You release step by step, you release fear to come into the recognition of your true nature, you know, of your soul being in perfect communication with everything that is. Okay. We said before that the spiritual eye cannot see error, and it's capable only of looking beyond it to the defense of atonement. There is no doubt that the spiritual eye does not produce extreme discomfort by what it sees. The thing that man forgets is that the discomfort is not the final outcome of its perception. Also important to know. The thing that man forgets is that the discomfort is not the final outcome of its perception. When the spiritual eye is permitted to look upon the defilement of the altar, it also looks immediately toward atonement. Nothing which the spiritual eye perceives can induce fear. Okay, so that's important. Nothing what the spiritual eye sees, perceives, can induce fear. Huh. Well, so that's one step up from your 3D vision with your eyes. Like I can even take off my glasses now and watch you with my spiritual eye and seeing that there's nothing to fear. I just didn't know that. You know, I really thought there was a reason for you to be careful being in contact with you because, yeah, you never know, you know. And now this spiritual vision actually, I can take a look at you directly and seeing nothing that makes me afraid. Well, if that isn't convincing, then what is? You know, that is amazing. So I'm able to love you and to look at you completely and saying like, oh my God, I never saw you like this. I cannot believe it, what I see. And I'm not afraid at all. I'm completely accepting you as you are. This is my vision that's given me. Suddenly my eyes are opened and I can see you for what you are. See, that is not fearful at all. It is your natural way of looking. Like the other eyes don't see anything, basically. They see a shape. But your spiritual vision doesn't see a shape. It doesn't see buildings. It doesn't see streets. It doesn't see human bodies. No, it sees you. It sees perfection. It sees no exception. No, it sees the unification. So that is really different. And it's an availability. It's an opportunity to come into that. Like this is what we're actually training ourselves into, using these lessons, using this, and coming into the practice of, yes, we're going to accept this for ourselves, because this is finally the thing that doesn't make you afraid. Everything else is making you afraid. I bet that if you open your little newspaper online and you're watching it, you read something that it's like, oh my God, no, is that serious? Oh gee, that you have a response like that, instead of, okay, here's your spiritual vision, like open your new app. It's a new app, spiritual vision. So nothing that you will see here will make you afraid. And it has an incredible lot of downloads, like everyone was already defaulted with it in himself. So you don't even have to open an app for that. You just have to open your eyes, open your spiritual eye. So that's so great. It's so easy. It's given you to use. It's not going to make you afraid. So how many times do you need to hear that? As many times as that you can release the fear and see that there's nothing left, nothing is left of your fear, but that you suddenly melt into the heart of your brother and seeing that it's actually you, seeing yourself in totality, seeing that there's no separation, that you're home in heaven, and that you're, that everything is perfect. I didn't know it was in there, but it is really in there. Isn't that great? Nothing which the spiritual eye perceives can induce fear. Everything that results from accurate spiritual awareness is channelized toward correction. Discomfort is aroused only to bring the need to correct forcibly into awareness. Okay, so that's a nice one to stand still with too. It's like I just underline it. Discomfort is aroused to bring the need to correct forcibly into awareness. So is there anyone? Yes. Is there anyone experiencing that? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So forcibly, you're coming into discomfort. Forcibly. Well, when it happens in the next couple of days, when you feel forcibly put into discomfort, you might as well realize that there's something going on for you that is like great learning moment. Not that you have to come up with ideas about what it should be. No, you are going to learn something. Something will be released for you. But the necessity to do that is very, say, clearly brought to you in an experience of incredible discomfort. And you say like, well, I really don't like this book anymore. I throw it out the window. It is not bringing me any joy. It's just the same discomfort as always. Like, no, this is a different discomfort. You really need to go through things in order to get this, so to speak, to allow this to affect you. And this is a sure sign that it's working, because you meet your resistance. There's something, so you feel your resistance. Basically, the discomfort is really the resistance. And that is perfectly all right. That is part of it. You should feel that, because these ideas that I share with you are totally, say, confrontative to the human mind. Totally confrontative. So your acceptance of it will take a moment, but at least you come into the awareness that a change will occur because you feel this incredible discomfort, and it will shift, it will change. So wait a moment, be patient and not throwing the book out of your window. Just stay with it for a moment, maybe lay it aside for a couple of hours, but allow this to change. Take time to let the change occur. It will shift. Tomorrow it will already be different, or in a couple of hours it will already be different. But you know at least that there's something fundamentally changing in you. And hey, okay, yeah, you go through stuff. Nobody said it would be easy. Nobody said it would be easy. It is not easy. No. But it's worth it because, like I said, you want to come into the spiritual vision. You want to come into Christ's vision. That is your vision. You have been looking for that. You knew there was a way of looking at everything where everything comes together instead of everything falling apart and seeing that everything is separate. No, this is the vision of holiness, and that is given to you to recognize your holiness in everyone and everything that you meet, in all your affairs and beyond your affairs, beyond your material world. So then even the material things that come to you, seeing with the spiritual eye, the material things that come to you, you see them in a different way too. You see them as total gifts from God. It's like, yes, absolutely. I'm so grateful to receive this. It has nothing to do with the form that they appear, but it has to do with the source, where it comes from. It is not matter. It is not coming from the factory. No, it is like literally given to you in a way that you can receive it as a gift coming from from God, from the direct communication with God. That can even be materially offered to you as a symbol of that. So that was the physical eye, or the corrective learning, the spiritual eye. Oh, so there's more about the spiritual eye. So let's have that. What the physical eye sees is not corrective, nor can it be corrected by any device which can be physically seen. Okay, so I can give that up then. Okay, I'll underline that too. It's like that might as well remember that too. So what I see with the physical eyes is not corrective, nor can I correct it by any device which the physical eyes can see. And why is that? Well, actually, it's also in this little book. It's like, imagine this. So I'll read that to you because it's really funny when you look at it. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, lesson 7. Lesson 7. I see only the past. As I look about, I condemn the world I look upon. I call this seeing. I hold the past against everyone and everything, making them my enemies. When I've forgiven myself and remembered who I am, I will bless everyone and everything I see. There will be no past and therefore no enemies. And I will look with love on all that I failed to see before. So correction of something that's already over doesn't make any sense. So I'm seeing only the past and I try to correct the past, which is not possible. Yeah, what can you say about the past? It is over. It's gone. It's over. It's not there. So what you see is not there any longer, and that's already over. So there's no need for you to correct anything. And you'll see that too in the urtext. In some of the chapters, it says, I think in chapter 8 or so, it says like, when you try to correct your brother, you're actually confirming the reality of his error, of the problem that you see. You actually make this world real to yourself and to your brother by correcting him. It doesn't make any sense. So that's also good to know. You know, it's like see, this all comes together as a whole, say, method. No, it's not a method, but it's like a whole new idea for you to work with, to see like your totality and see what adds to that and what doesn't. So this is definitely something that you don't have to do. So then to accept this in terms of the atonement is then, I'm seeing only the past. Oh my God, I got to know that. I got to realize that I'm actually seeing only the past. So I'm allowing that idea to come into my mind during the day too. It's like, oh, I see only the past in everything around me. I can't believe it. This is over. That is already over. That is already over. That is already over. I don't need to correct that. That's already over. I see my leg. This is going on with my leg. This is going on with my cat. That's going on with my dog. But it's already over. So I'm not going to hold on to it. Let a new vision come to me and see that it is not limited by anything that I saw before and think it has reality. I know I go too far now, really, isn't it? I go a little bit too far now, right? It's like, what is there left? What is there left? If everything you see is already over, what is left? See, that is the great thing about this training and about coming together in this new, brand new light that is giving us. You know, this is here. This is already what it is. You know, what is. So your reality is getting a bit more space now because you let go of this idea of past. You know, it's like, yes, there's more space in my mind. There's more space for light and truth and wholeness to enter in, to show me my true identity. Yeah, to allow myself some healing from old ideas that I carried with me, to feel that there's an undoing going on that makes me temporarily very uncomfortable, but suddenly something is lifted and I feel so much better. And I see that, oh my God, I take that light literally with me wherever I go. It really is not limited. It's going to be used everywhere I go. When I realize that it is over, there's no need for me to defend myself. When I see that everything is already over, there's no need for me to protect myself or to attack my brother. It's like, no, 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 just let it pass by. It's over. It's gone already. No, here I am. Yeah, we can communicate directly in this new light, in this new moment that is not, say, determined by past ideas. Now we come directly into communication. When you let go of that, it is immediately there for you. So great and so possible and so practical. That's happening right now. It's happening here. We don't have to go anywhere for it. You can sit in the same couch as you're so familiar with, where you're actually looking at something that's over too. So is it still solid? Is it still, yeah, you can still sit on it. Yeah, absolutely. So that's good to know too. Okay, so I don't know. Should I read this? The reason why the real vision is obscured is because man cannot endure to see his own defiled altar. But since the altar has been defiled, this fact becomes doubly dangerous unless it is perceived. This perception is totally non-threatening because of the atonement. The fear of healing arises in the end from an unwillingness to accept the unequivocal fact that healing is necessary. The fear arises because of the necessary willingness to look at what man has done to himself. Oops. So you're actually not, you think that you're not going to like to see what you put on the altar. So what you see as something that's between you and God, that is still an obstacle between you and God, you're not really willing, or you're not really too enthusiastic about it to look at the altar and see what you did to yourself. So that's a fear. That's why actually it's like, well, let's not take a look at that. I'm fine. I'm doing still okay. It's doable. I survived this. I'll be able to do this. Up to the point that you actually realize, like, no, healing is a necessity. I need to go through this. I need to see what I'm doing to myself. There's a real need for me to take a good look at myself. Like, what was I thinking? What occurred? Why can I be so confused about this and that? And why am I in so much pain? That might be a real good one too. Like, why am I in so much pain? Why am I still relying on the lies that I spread around about myself and feeling good about that to a certain degree? Or why is it that I'm actually trusting my own thoughts still? Why am I not willing to have my mind just being open instead of filled with ideas? Why is there a reason for me to defend myself and to, yeah, say, to avoid certain situations? See, there needs to be, you have to feel that from within, that there's a necessity for healing. Otherwise, you will not do this. If you have an option, another option, you're probably going to take that one, because, yeah, you don't have to do it. You have to go through the discomfort of looking at yourself, looking at, what am I doing in my mind? How am I protecting myself? And what am I actually defending? And all that, so it will be presenting itself all the time anyway, because there's no way of say, avoiding it in the first place. But you can keep yourself busy with trying so for a while. And yeah, we do that. So up to the point that you don't have a choice anymore, and you dive right into it and see, like, okay, well, I might as well take a really good look at what I'm doing. So are you remembering the moments that you really took a good look at what you're actually doing, and how freeing it was to admit, like, oh my God, yes, I'm wrong. Sorry, I'm wrong. I totally missed this. I totally didn't get it. Yeah, I really was fooling myself in a big way. The moment that you were able to actually admit that, and how freeing that felt to you, even though it was the last thing you wanted to do. So this is what happens with healing too. There's a release connected to it, a release of fear connected to it. How great it feels to see, and this is going to be big. That's why you were in this process. We're on step by step, on a daily basis, to come closer to the point where you're actually going to put everything on the altar, and maybe even your totality of yourself putting on the altar. Like, you can have all of me. I'm getting to the point where I completely want to offer myself, literally all the things that I made of myself, every idea that I ever hold, I put on the altar. I don't need any of it. So, but see, this is not a superficial thing. No, it is like, you literally bring the whole you that you created, the whole you that you thought you were, you put that on the altar. And not that that's a sacrifice, but it might feel like a death process, like a death episode where you go through. And that can be uncomfortable. It doesn't necessarily need to be joyous in the beginning, but it will be joyous as soon as you decide that you're willing to do that. And then see that it is not the end of it, but you had to go through that rebirth moment. You had to go through that. So yeah, that doesn't happen just once. It can happen a couple of times, or many times. You come to the place where you actually do this, put yourself on the altar on a daily basis. And we know the terms like, okay, you have to die daily. Like Paul said this to us, Paul, and is being referred to so many times. But this is then actually that in its totality. So it's a little bit more than just going through a little death episode. No, it's literally you put yourself on the altar and say like, okay, this is the end of me. I'm here. It is again. This aspect of myself I didn't put on the altar yet, but here's more. It's like emptying the pockets of a robber. It's like, well, you got more in your pocket. Yeah. Well, here's yeah. There's this watch too. Yeah. No. No. And there's this, this bracelet is here too. Oh, wait a minute. I got a pocket here too. And still some ideas that I can give. You don't want to give it all at once. This is really the way for most of us that it goes. But not necessarily you have to do it like that. You can give yourself completely, immediately. There's no need to delay that process either. But anyway, you have to deal with yourself in that sense. You can do this when you can do this, not before that. You cannot do it too early. You cannot do it too late. No, it will be perfect. And you can completely trust that too. So that is like, I'm not going to put any pressure on you. No, you experience the pressure yourself by not being happy with the ideas or not of feeling the pressure of a need for the healing of all that. And that is happening. That is happening when you allow this, when you are willing to say, yeah, okay, here I am. This is it. You can have it. I don't need it any longer. It's like giving your tools back or giving your toys back. I'm not going to play with this toy anymore. I did that. I played a lot with it, and now it's just meaningless to me. It doesn't do anything for me anymore. I want a real deal. That is, I want to be fulfilled in the totality of my being. So this is the declaration that's connected to it. This is, it's important too, to declare yourself in that. Like, what is it that you want? Yeah, I'm feeling this, like I'm finding myself exactly in this spot where I actually, I can declare myself as this is where I find myself. I'm willing to give myself completely. I put myself on the altar. And whatever happens after, I could care less. I'm completely willing to go through any lengths to get this or to get this and to have this revealed to me. What do I have to lose is really the question. So that is connected to the idea of release of fear. So you don't do this just like that. No, it is a release from fear. That's why we call this healing, like healing as release from fear. You come to the point that you are not afraid anymore about whatever is going to happen and whatever the consequences are of the unknown that you actually know really well. Okay, so I'll read some more from these beautiful lessons. So this is an assuring part that I'm going to share with you. So this is connected to the other way of looking at yourself. There's another way of looking at the world. Since the purpose of the world is not the one I ascribe to it, there must be another way of looking at it. I see everything upside down, and my thoughts are the opposite of truth. I see the world as a prison for God's Son. It must be then that the world is really a place where he can be set free. I would look upon the world as it is and see it as a place where the Son of God can find his freedom. When I see the world as a place of freedom, I realize that it reflects the laws of God instead of the rules I made up for it to obey. I will understand that peace, not war, abides in it. And I will perceive that peace also abides in the hearts of all who share this place with me. I could see peace instead of this. All right. Well, you're still here. That's wonderful. I love that. So I hope to see you soon, maybe on Sunday when we practice this in the declaration of our truth, of the reality of who we are, or the declaration of the place where we appear to find ourselves. So I'm really inviting you to join us, absolutely, because it is the possibility for you to come into the experience of this, to come into the practice of this, and that is just increasing the joy together, and supporting one another in this process of letting go, in this process of releasing fear. And so you're totally invited to do so. So thank you so much for being part of this class and joining together with us here, and hope to see you soon. Thank you.